Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. I'm Derek DeBurger. This is Sam Roth, right to my left.
How are we doing, guys?
Yes, to your left as well, because I think the camera flips it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, wait, does it? No, it'd be to your right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on the right.
Sorry.
How about that?
How about that? Well, this intro probably won't get interrupted, but the podcast got interrupted. Who cares? Oh, well. We were just talking about transfers and Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some basketball in there.
We did. We talked a lot about basketball. A lot about basketball.
And the UCF final. Oh, we didn't even do the UCF final.
UCF final?
FCS final. We didn't even.
FCS finals. That's right. We didn't talk about that.
We didn't even put it in the pick'ems.
Oh, no, because it's not this week.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's the day after the FPS National Championship.
Oh, well.
I'm not. I know. I'm on top of things, man. I'm on top of things.
Oh, my gosh. I thought for a second I was like, oh,
Well,
no.
you know what? Maybe the intro did get interrupted because we don't know what we're doing here.
No, we really don't.
Yeah.
Listen, we're filming on a different day. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're off our schedule.
Yeah.
Look, we talk about transfers. We talk about the NCAA sucking. We talk about college basketball, and then how bowl games suck now.
And the hires and fires are going on.
Yeah, we
in
did
the world.
hires and
yeah.
pick 'em. They're on YouTube.
Yep. Oh, chaotic.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see you in the episode.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. I'm Derek DeBurger. With me is Sam Roth.
How we doing, guys?
Yes. So, not a ton happening. There's games being played. You know,
I mean, like,
more than the off season, but
yeah, bowl games going on. But
right now we're just going through the.
as far as like football goes, the basketball's in full gear now.
Yes.
Got rivalry week coming up right now. As long as I'm about to start some conference play.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, right. As far as football, the one that moves the needle.
Does it now?
Yes, it does. That's. Don't make this into something it's not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Right now, we're playing all the. I'm here because I have to be bowl games.
Oh.
You know, which by the way, last night this is the first for us. We're recording on a Tuesday. We normally record on a Monday. So last night, Monday night, Western Kentucky.
It was close. Very close game.
Old Dominion.
Yeah.
That was a crazy bowl game.
Yeah, it was like 35-35.
Old Dominion got up 28-0. And then Western Kentucky came roaring back. And they ended up forcing overtime. And then they won. So it's crazy. They were down 7 in regulation. Old Dominion was driving the ball. They went to go kick a field goal. Western blocks it. And then they march down. They score. They tie it. Send the game to overtime. In overtime, Old Dominion gets the ball first. They start marching down. They get down to the 1 yard line. It's first and goal at the 1. They get stuffed 3 times. They're about to go for it again because they're like, screw it, we're at the 1 yard line. Like, who doesn't get in at the 1 yard line? Mm-hmm. And then it's a false start, so they have to go back 5 yards. And they're like, we'll just kick it. We'll take the 3. It gets blocked again. And then Western scores a touchdown. Actually, no, they kick a field goal, I think. And then they win it in overtime.
Wow.
After being down 28-0.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that was a fun game.
Another fun game was your FCS playoffs.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Your Montana won in overtime.
Yes, the Grizzlies, baby.
They won in overtime.
I think it's double overtime.
It was something like that, yeah. Against North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
Heck of a game that was.
Great pick.
Oh, my gosh.
Great pick. Now we're set up for a South Dakota State-Montana national championship.
Yeah.
Which, those are the 1 and 2 seed. So, I guess it shouldn't come as a shock. But
South Dakota State destroyed Albany.
The Albany, yeah.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It wasn't a game.
Yeah, that was not close. You know what else wasn't close?
What wasn't close?
Involving North Dakota State.
What was?
I don't know if you saw this.
I thought it was a high school team when I read this. Like, you know, Oak Hill,
Yeah.
like the,
Oak Hill Academy?
Like the prep. Yeah, I thought that's what that was.
Yeah. Oak Hill Christian played North Dakota State in basketball. You haven't seen the highlights?
I honestly didn't want to look at them.
It is the funniest thing.
Why?
Oh my God, they don't look like they know how to play basketball.
Oh, but
It's so bad. It is the funniest like set of highlights I think I have ever seen.
oh,
Ever. Like there's this one dude that just whenever he gets the ball is like, I'm a shooter. I'm a shooter. But he shoots like and it's just a line drive every time, and he either bricks it or just goes out of bounds. It's so, and none of them can handle the ball. They're constantly getting the ball stolen.
what is this? Is this like an actual team? Or are they like?
I think it's Division 2 or 3.
What?
but they were so bad. It is the most entertaining thing to just sit back and watch those highlights. Oh my God. I mean, the score says everything. North Dakota State won 108-14.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I mean, the 108, it's basketball, and you can put up 108.
That can happen.
But the 14 is atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if like Alabama played them.
Oh, it's like 200.
Yeah, they would easily score like 140, 150.
Oh, yeah.
But that's very, very good. But like you mentioned before, basketball's in full swing. We're going to talk about that. But I think first we need to talk about all the transfer portal news, because there is some transfer portal news, starting with the biggest news is that a West Virginia court issued a temporary injunction and a restraining order against the NCAA regarding the one-time transfer rule. So now, I think there's only like a week and a half left of it, but they granted 14 days that the one-time transfer rule, where you can only transfer once, like no strings attached. That doesn't apply. Anyone can transfer.
Right.
Obviously not like mid-season, like Zach Edey couldn't transfer to Kansas
Right now, mid-season, no.
But for football, you can. And so, I think someone played in the guy who sued, and like in West Virginia. I don't know if a guy sued, or I didn't look into that part. I know 6 states were involved.
Oh, okay.
In the lawsuit against the NCAA, and that the court was being held in West Virginia because that was one of the 6 states. But one of the guys that was like central to the lawsuit, he actually played for Miami of Ohio in their bowl game.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, of course I'm going to play. And then the NCAA came out trying to threaten people, saying, they're like, if you play during this period, you're losing a year of eligibility. It's an empty threat because, so the court issued the restraining order and the temporary injunction, and they're going to revisit in 2 weeks, when 2 weeks from when they made the order, which was middle of the week last week sometime. So there's probably like 9 or 10 days left in it. So when they revisit it, they could elect to uphold the ruling that the one-time transfer rule is not legal.
Oh.
And so if that's the case, there is no one-time transfer rule.
Yeah.
Like the NCAA cannot enforce that.
Right.
If they get the ruling in their favor, everyone that plays is going to lose a year of eligibility for like one game. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. As of now, the most notable case, I think, is that there's a player for Florida State on their defensive line who hasn't been able to play all year because the NCAA didn't grant him a waiver to play.
Oh.
He could potentially play in the bowl game against Georgia. And that he's good, apparently. He's very good. So their already very good defensive line could be phenomenal against Georgia.
Yeah.
But it all depends on
It is interesting because, like, basically, what power would the NCAA even have anymore? There's no legal ramifications to anything unless, like, they don't, like, you're not sworn under oath to tell the truth to them or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you can't have control over players and when they can leave and how they can leave or anything along those lines, they're losing their iron grip, if you will, on
so
athletics.
This is their fault.
Well, 1,000%.
Yeah, like if they had just adjusted the rules like 10 years ago, they wouldn't be losing all these legal battles. Because the NCAA for the longest time, it was a known thing. It was like, if you sue them, you're gonna lose. You're going to lose a lawsuit against the NCAA. And then all of a sudden, the tides turned. Now they seem to lose every single lawsuit that they are a part of.
Right.
Because people kind of wised up to, like, no, this isn't right. Yeah. I would say this is wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's their fault that they're losing all these suits. If they're losing more and more and more power, if they would have just adjusted with the times, they would have kept that power.
Yeah. In any other sense, imagine going to watch a form of entertainment and just not paying the entertainers.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but we are paying you with knowledge because you got a scholarship.
Even child actors get their money put in like a trust.
Right. Well, these are adults. They're 18-year-olds.
At the youngest. I mean, some of them, I guess, are 17 if you declare, like, if you reclassify. But that's the youngest.
Right.
And so that reminds me, I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
It's slipping out of my pocket.
Yeah, I know. So it's definitely their fault, but also you can have a collective bargaining agreement that doesn't follow the law. That being said, if it's agreed upon by both parties, then that's legally okay. The issue here, and I think the issue as to why all these things that don't really follow the law are being challenged and lost in court by the NCAA, they're being thrown out because it's not like a fair collective bargaining. The student athletes don't actually have any like power. They don't have any.
No.
They don't have a seat at the table. They don't have any control over their fates, essentially. And so that's why all these things that violate the law are not, even though they're agreed upon by the NCAA and the universities, they're being tossed because the players don't have any say. And that's the important party here.
It just sounds like we're going to get to a point where it's going to be semi-professional. There's going to be a players' union. There's going to be everything involved.
I think there should be.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, but that's a tricky thing because everyone knows football drives the bus.
Yeah.
But like, I think you can't just neglect, like, say, like tennis players, or like a school with a rowing team. I think to start this, I mean, it's very tricky. But to start, I think everyone should just get like a flat. Like if you're an athlete, get a flat rate, get a flat check. I know it's not fair in the sense that football players make the money, but
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think
I'm open to criticism here.
I personally think there's something to be said, the value of education for certain people, where it's like a scholarship is more than enough. But then I would also argue, like, go get what you're worth. If you're worth more than a scholarship, go get that. But at the bare minimum, it should be a scholarship. If you're not like a walk-on, like if you're a walk-on, you have that choice to be a walk-on, right? Go get what you're worth. Whatever the best offer is out there for you, go get it. So there's gonna be imbalances in other sports, I imagine. Even in football, there's gonna be imbalances where you're gonna have a soccer team, a volleyball team, a baseball team, a basketball team, or whatever that's going to have more funds allocated to them by a certain university than others, and they're going to go be able to poach more talent because of it. And like That's the way it's going to be. Is that there's going to be big fish out there, big universities who are going to pull in the money to where they're like, if we care about this program, I mean, it's already happening when you see facilities and stuff. Like, part of the reason why before, like, why, like, you can already argue that,
Yeah.
like, for football, there's 4 or 5 schools every year that realistically have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, every year, consistently, year in and year out. I mean, like, before NIL. Do you think that's just a coincidence, or do you think they had the best facilities, the best coaches, the best programs? They had a lot to offer. You were on national television. They had those deals going for them. I mean, there's definitely appeal to it. And then on top of that, because of all that, they're going to have more money to go and get certain players too.
I know what you're saying, but I don't.
It's just that's what's going to happen.
I absolutely understand the argument, and I don't completely disagree with it. I just think that, like, to use the NFL for example, like it's a revenue sharing league, so they share all the revenue minus, like, I think suites. Each team. That's why if you pay attention, I know it's a college show, but if you pay attention to the NFL, each team tries to just pump their stadium full of suites and boxes because they get all that money. They don't. That's revenue they don't have to share. But the majority of it is shared. But even on top of that, you have teams that are richer than others, and that's where the like the Bengals have historically, not to poop on your franchise here, but the Bengals historically have had some of the worst facilities in the NFL.
1,000%. I agree with that.
And so a reason why a lot of people don't want to play in Cincinnati is because the facilities are so bad.
Yeah.
I think you're still going to have that. Like, Alabama's got incredible facilities. Ohio State, Texas, they've got great facilities. But I think it's not fair to have, like, well, they make more money, so let them just empty it out, because Texas makes so much money outside of football as well. And you already have seen Texas lawmakers are like, screw it. Like, take money from the university to pay football players. We don't care. And so it's not like that's going to stop. And so I think the way to go about this, in my opinion, is the conferences should pay money for players. Like, the conferences should just, like, throw in a pool and, like, because the conferences make so much money. They make so much money. I know there's, like, I know that SEC and the Sun Belt are not the same. I'm aware of that, but, like, you have to start from a somewhat level footing, in my opinion, and then work out the kinks from there. But, like,
I mean, I kind of agree with, like, what Chip Kelly said.
Make it all independent.
Well, I mean, like, just put football off to the side.
Yeah.
Football, I mean, like, honestly, we don't like the NCAA here, but the NCAA is good for other sports.
It's good for other sports, and schools don't. Like, there's a reason coaches are saying all this. Schools don't want to get rid of the NCAA.
No.
Conferences don't want to get rid of the NCAA because for schools, conferences act as a shield for lawsuits, and for conferences, the NCAA acts as a shield for lawsuits. Without the NCAA, the SEC is starting to get sued.
Yeah.
And then they become the big bad guys. Everyone hates Greg Sankey. A lot of people already do, but
yeah.
Like, and then eventually that gets wiped out, and then it just falls back on the schools, and then Alabama starts getting sued. They don't want that. So all these schools and conferences want the NCAA to exist. They want to work something out. That's why you hear coaches saying, like, we need to go independent in football. Like, just have all the power teams go independent in football. And not, like, university presidents saying, like, we need to be independent in football. Only Notre Dame wants that.
Right.
And that's because they're in the ACC and everything else.
Right.
They can still kind of shield themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense, though, if you think about it. If you listen to the full soundbite of what Chip Kelly was saying, basically, he was like, yeah, you basically just have it to where every team's independent. You play 7 West Coast. We have our 7 West Coast teams that we play every year or whatever, and then we go and we play 7 teams from the East or whatever, and like that's your 14 games or whatever. Like he was just spitballing this. I know they only played 12, but it's like you got your 7 and your 7, and then you go play these teams and these teams, and your job is just to schedule the best teams that you think for yourself, basically. And I was like, I mean, I get it. I 100% get it. And they're like, Chip Kelly, you suck as a football coach, but why can't you just be the commissioner?
He's a decent football coach.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I get that, but, like, the problem is that this is moving to, like, NFL light. And I think the powers that be want this to be NFL light, but that's not what college is.
I mean, you got to get over the nostalgia of what it is and was.
I know, but there's a reason why college has the frenzied fan base that it does. And it's because it is not the NFL. It's because it's more local. And I know...
No, it's local, but tradition's going to be gone. Tradition's already being gone. It's being tossed.
I know, but it's making the sports worse. Like, I think you can't deny that.
I'm not arguing that at all. I'm just saying, like, it's changing, and whether you like it or not, it is what it is, you know? And college now is not what it was 20 years ago, and now it's not going to be what it is 20 years from now.
I know that. I just think that the best solution is trying to find a fit within the NCAA model. I think that's the best solution. I know the NCAA sucks. Charlie Baker, you can eat dirt.
It's not.
But
we'll see what happens because it's all forthcoming.
Yeah.
And like everyone says, oh, something's gonna happen, but it's like until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, everyone's been saying China's economy is going to collapse for 3 decades now.
Have they?
They're still going strong. Anyway, more transfer news.
The quarterbacks are starting.
Quarterbacks, starting to.
I'm still interested to see where
online.
Malik Murphy goes.
That's an interesting one
because everyone's like, why is he transferring before the playoff? And
the reason he gave. Did you see the actual statement he made about it?
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
No, 100%. It's basically like, if Arch is the heir to be there, and he is going to go to
and Quinn Ewers has already said he's coming back for
back. He's in schools are right now trying to find their next quarterback. He's got to leave now to know where he stands before all the spots are filled.
Yeah,
and
because if he left after the playoff, which given the transfer portal window, like he would have the ability to do that. But if he left after, it's like okay, do I want to go to do I want to go to Ohio or do I want to go to Boise State? Like, wait, which one do I want to go?
Maybe
Sam Houston. There's
there
playing time there.
I mean, like the quality of quarterback that he is, it seems like he's going to be in a good situation.
Yeah.
But it's also like, rather than not want to sound like bad or anything, but it's like he can go to a spot right now and know it's his spot, and he's not going to have to quote unquote compete for the job. Whereas, like, if he's
being brought in to be the starter,
right?
Not brought in to compete,
right? But then,
coaches can say whatever they want,
right? But
they bring guys in to start sometimes,
right? And then it'll be interesting to see where he goes.
Malachi Nelson, massive news.
I'm kind of surprised by that one because it's like
I don't think I'm super surprised by it.
I'm surprised in the sense that it seemed like it was going to be his team next year.
Well, I think what kind of
or is he just trying to get another bag?
I mean, it could be, but he didn't transfer immediately. So here's what I think it is. I think in his mind, he's like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to redshirt behind Caleb Williams, and then year 2, my first year where I'm not redshirting, I'm the guy. I'm going to play. He's seeing that Caleb Williams is not participating in the bowl game. He was not named the starter for the bowl game. Miller Moss is named the starter. That's the guy's name, Miller Moss. That's a great name.
2 last names.
But he's going to start. And so he's like, okay, that's weird. I'm not the starter. I don't really know why. But also, USC has been very, very, very adamant in trying to bring in a transfer quarterback. And it looks like they're probably going to bring in Will Howard, who I think is a great pickup.
It is. Mississippi State guy?
No, that's Will Rogers. Will Howard was Kansas State.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Will Howard's got a big arm. I think, he's a guy that you can coach up. He was already pretty good at Kansas State, and I think you can coach him up even more. I think he's going to be fantastic, but he's already seeing, like, okay, I'm already, as it stands today, I'm going to be number 2 on the depth chart next year. They bring in another guy, I'm going to be number 3.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Or do you think they just bring it into, I mean, in the words of Jeff Brom, you can never have too many quarterbacks.
I mean, yeah, if you're an offensive guy, typically that's your thought process, especially if you're a guy that works with quarterbacks. But I think they're bringing in Will Howard to start. I think that's what they're doing.
Right.
And so he sees that, like, I'm probably, like, best case scenario, number 2 next year. And I think he wants to start.
But then it's also like, if you're Will Howard, would you even go there to be a backup? Probably not.
No. Especially if you're as good as Will Howard. Like, you have other options.
Right.
Like,
don't worry. We'll go to spring ball. They're going to see what type of reps they're getting in practice. And then there's going to be a whole ordeal of another transfer round.
Well, no, because they got rid of the spring portal.
Oh, so you can't do that anymore.
It's just one 45-day window after the season ends. So,
I mean, it's interesting. Kyle McCord went to Syracuse.
Yeah, that was big.
It sounds like every Ohio State fan was like good riddance.
See, on the surface, that's kind of like, oh man, like maybe Kyle McCord does suck. He went to Syracuse, but if you look at it, Syracuse has a really good portal class right now.
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know, there's something to be said about when Ohio State goes 11-1 this year, and they're like, apparently he just wasn't the guy.
I mean, yeah, you can not be the guy, but also not be bad.
Oh, Dante Moore went to Oregon. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Dante Moore went to Oregon to be a backup behind Dylan Gabriel.
Really?
Compete for the job.
Oh, Dylan Gabriel went to Oregon too.
I will say,
How the hell did you get both of those guys?
I'm not that shocked, honestly. I mean, I kind of am, because everyone thought, like, okay, he got benched at UCLA. He probably wants to go somewhere to start. And that's why he probably went to UCLA in the first place, because he wasn't going to start over Bo Nix. I think he went to UCLA because of the NIL. Like, I think he was okay sitting behind Bo Nix.
Bo Nix was at Oregon.
Yeah, because he had originally committed to Oregon, but flipped, I think,
UCLA.
the day before, to UCLA.
So his one true love was Oregon at heart, but he went and got a bag at UCLA.
Yeah, I think he's okay with sitting.
Oh.
I think it was just the NIL that got him away from Oregon in the first place. And now I think he's like, okay, I'll go back. I don't care. And so that one's not that shocking.
Riley Leonard went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, that happened. I mean, the biggest fish out there left are, like, as far as quarterbacks go, Cam Ward. Will Howard still hasn't technically committed, but I think he's going to USC. DJ Uiagalelei.
Where's he going?
Florida State.
Really?
It looks like Florida State,
Really?
but the thing is, Florida State's got it. They're going after both DJ and Cam Ward.
Oh.
Cam Ward, it looks like his 3 options right now are Florida State, Miami, NFL. So we'll see what happens there. I want to talk about the classes as a whole, though, because I kind of brought it up, like, with Syracuse, because Syracuse has a really good class right now.
Really?
Syracuse is, where are they?
6.
Syracuse is 6, yeah. They're
Well,
not
on this site.
on 3. I know you like 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. Like, you have Louisville. This one has Louisville ranked first.
Yeah, let's go
I
to.
believe 24/7 has Louisville ranked 3rd.
Yes, they do. We'll go for 24/7. We're a 24/7 kind of podcast here when it comes to football. I actually don't like On 3 very much.
Okay, I would say I like 24/7 when it comes to football.
Yeah, I just did On 3 because they popped up first. But yeah, I mean, Ole Miss has been killing it in the transfer portal.
That's kind of crazy.
Colorado, they've already got 15 commits, and I think they haven't had a ton of people transfer out.
No.
Which, I mean, they will have people graduating, so that makes sense. But Colorado's up there. Arizona State, TCU, NC State, South Carolina, Texas Tech. Like the great thing about the portal is like none of these schools that I mentioned are historic. They're not going to every single year kill it.
Also, I
in
think the
high school
ranking
recruiting.
for the points is that each recruit is worth a certain number of points. So I will say your top 5 or 6 right there, they just have the most commits.
Yeah, but the thing is, the most commits early on often is indicative of you went out and you got the best guys.
Not necessarily.
Not always. I'm aware of that, but like,
Because, like, I look at Louisville, I mean, like, not going to lie, I don't know anything about any of these guys other than the wide receiver from Alabama. And I'm a Louisville fan.
Louisville's gotten some good transfers in.
Really?
Yeah,
I only know the wide receiver from Alabama, who's apparently the guy.
he's very, very good, very, very injury prone.
What's his name?
It's like Corey or something like that. But I'm pretty Ja'Cory Brooks. Ja'Cory Brooks is the wide receiver from Alabama. I like Louisville's transfer portal class so far. Obviously, we know more about Louisville because we live in Louisville. We're Louisville fans.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have a ton of guys that have committed. That's why they're third right now. They're also good.
Right.
So I'm busy. Okay.
Little T.O.
Yeah. Whatever. Go ahead. What are you doing? What are you doing, Eli? Just get it.
Need to get it out of sight.
Oh, is it Tiffany's?
Yes.
Okay. Why would she come down, Eli? Why would she come down here in the first place?
You know what they're at.
Tell me, like, tell her, but just go. Just go.
Obviously not at this moment.
Jesus Christ. We've done this for half a year and that hasn't happened yet.
20.
This is 23.
23?
Jesus. Ah. Come on, Mom.
No, but between. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, what I'm saying is I like these transfers. Yeah. Anyway,
what were we talking about?
we were talking about transfer portal, like the schools that are up there, the schools that are tops.
So Tiffany
Ole Miss
plays
is
clarinet, huh?
Yeah, Tiffany plays clarinet. Ole Miss is number one. Look out for them next year. Colorado, not really shocking. We just going back to it?
I'm sorry, he just came down here to move a box 5 feet.
I know. This stupidest thing. Didn't think about it at all. You guys don't know at all what we're talking about. We've got, we have an idea, but God.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm sorry.
No, I get it. I get it.
Oh.
Anyway. That's frustrating.
Oh, that was great.
Okay. We just moving on now? What is this? What is this? What are we even doing anymore?
I don't know, man.
Anyway, one guy I was going to mention is Jalen Lucas. He's a running back. It looks like he's between Colorado and Louisville right now, which is interesting because they're two of the top 3 classes at the moment.
Recruits.
Yeah, he's a transfer. Yeah, he's from Indiana. He's very, very good.
Oh.
That's a good get for whoever it is. If Colorado, if they get him, they've already got that guy that he was a freshman last year. He flipped from Notre Dame to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be very, very dangerous for them. If they can shore up the O-line, which I'm going to look at Colorado's commits because I am curious how many of them are offensive line commits. they can work on that O line, then that would be dangerous if they got Jalen Lucas as well. Looks like they got 1, 2, 3 offensive linemen. They're all interior offensive linemen. Colorado did. So, and they got the Wade brothers from Kentucky. Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting to see how all that'll play out. Sorry, my momentum got ruined there. That's all right. Let's just move on. This is frustrating. What do we got here?
I didn't know if you saw this or not.
I did. Alabama hired a former Michigan coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to get any advantage they possibly can.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? What in the world?
Yeah, what's that story?
Daughter-in-law reacts to, I don't know. What in the world? What type of site did I just click on?
I don't know. That looked like phishing to me.
Did it now?
No. Anyway, let's talk about there's some coaching hires that are interesting to me. Yeah, that's a good segue. Good segue. Alabama hired a former Michigan coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're playing Michigan. That's all it is. They're just trying to get any advantage they can.
I suppose so. Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, good for him. He's on Alabama staff now. But
Yeah. Shout out to him. Right place, right time, I suppose.
yeah, but yeah. So we got most of the other coaching hires like coordinators, except we do have one. North Dakota State hires Wyoming's offensive coordinator, Tim Pulasic, as their new head coach. That's an interesting hire, especially because they've gone defensive guys.
Yeah.
Like several coaches in a row, they've gone defense. And so I didn't know this actually. But their current coach leaving for USC to be their linebackers coach, which is weird. But the coach before him is David Braun.
David Braun.
He was the defensive coordinator at Northwestern, got promoted to the interim when Pat Fitzgerald fired. Now he's their full-time head coach.
Right. Gotcha.
So that worked out for him.
Did he win Coach of the Year or whatever?
No. Kalen DeBoer did.
Oh, right. The Washington.
Yeah.
He was a finalist though, right?
Yeah, he was up there.
Worthy, yeah.
No, I mean he won 7 games when everyone was like they're not going to win a single game.
No.
But so yeah, North Dakota State, they got their coach. Some interesting ones though. Penn State has hired Tom Allen as their defensive coordinator. Indiana had a very good defense this year.
They sure did.
They had a very good defense. They were awful, but they had a great defense. And then speaking of great defense, nothing else. Iowa, very, very, very interesting target for their offensive coordinator vacancy. They're looking at Scott Frost.
Oh.
Yeah, they're looking at Scott Frost.
Has he been out for a year?
Yeah,
Basically?
yeah, he has.
Oh, interesting.
He did not do anything this past year. I thought. See, that kind of goes in line with my thinking, which it's what Wisconsin's trying to do right now, like changing the offense to a more modern style, while still having a defensive coach at the helm. But Scott Frost, like I said, that Iowa should look at Brian Braun as offensive coordinator,
Right.
because I know he's trying to branch out.
Is he now?
Yeah, he wants to be a head coach one day.
Okay, gotcha.
He's gonna leave eventually, and so I was like, okay, go give him a look. But if you got Scott Frost, like he was the coordinator, offensive coordinator at Oregon for a little bit. They had a great offense under him. He is a good coach. Like he had a bad tenure at Nebraska, but I think it's really, really hard to win at Nebraska. And so, and also they kind of they had a losing attitude under him. You know, it's like they lost so many close games that it got to the point where it was like, if a game is even remotely close, they're gonna lose it because they don't have faith that they can win. That kind of happens, I think, with teams. You know, if you don't prove early on that you've got what it takes to win a tough game,
Right.
it has the potential to snowball a little bit, especially with a new coach. And so I think that's what happened to Scott Frost. But at Central Florida, he took a team that had 0 wins, and in his second year as their coach, they won 13 games.
Right.
That's incredible. And so obviously he's a great coach. But this hire for Iowa, if they do go ahead with it, phenomenal move. I think it might take a little time because they're reconfiguring the entire offense around what Scott Frost would do. But I think it's a great hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one, yeah. It'll be interesting to see if it was a coordinator issue or on the field issue where they just didn't have talent.
I think it's more of a coordinator issue because I remember several years ago at this point, Iowa made a concerted effort to try and get skill players from the South. They were trying to start like getting a recruiting footprint in like Georgia and Florida.
Get a little pipeline going.
Yeah, that NCAA football pipeline.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were trying to recruit more in the South, specifically skill players, because they had the speed. Like that's what Ohio State started doing.
Duty.
Yeah, that's what Ohio State started pooing. And so, like Ohio State, and I think Michigan does it now too as well, because they can. They've got skill position players from down south, the big states, you know, where they've got all the speed, and they're just better than everyone else in the Big Ten. They're just better. And Iowa tried to do that, but because they run such a boring offense, no one wanted to go there. No one wanted to go there. And so they attempted to do that. They couldn't do it. Scott Frost was the coach at Central Florida.
Right.
He's got a little cachet in Florida. So you bring in Scott Frost. He's already a great coordinator. He's going to have that, you know, foot in the door of Florida. That's a great hire. And I think watch out for Iowa, you know, several years from now. They could be very good. Like very good.
All right.
So that's my pitch.
You high on the Scott Frost hire?
I am. I'm very high on that.
I mean, he was at Nebraska for a minute.
Yeah, he was there for like 5-6 years, something like that. It was not a good tenure.
No.
And I mean, Nebraska's a hard place to win.
Right.
Like,
I mean, they
Matt
sell
Rule
out,
went like what 5-7,
but
and
that
they're
was
like,
expected.
I don't think that was expected. I think it was worse than that was expected.
Oh,
Simply just because Matt Rule doesn't have a good track record of
winning for sure.
winning first year, yeah, and also Nebraska has been so down for so long. And so he won 5 games. He almost made a bowl game, and everyone was like about to anoint him a god in Lincoln.
He did really good at Baylor, though.
He did really good at Temple. He's done really well everywhere he's gone.
Except for
Minus the NFL.
Yeah. He was what, Panthers?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know. The NFL's different. In college, you're your own GM as well.
Oh yeah.
So you can pick the ingredients that you're cooking with. But yeah, that's all the coaching stuff. I mean, also Troy hired Notre Dame's offensive coordinator. I don't know how
that move goes.
Yeah, that means Notre Dame's lost 2 offensive coordinators in back-to-back years.
Interesting.
Tommy Lloyd went to Alabama. Not Tommy Lloyd, Tommy Reese.
Do you think that's guys wanting to leave and like, I'm done here because this ain't it? Or do you think it's more that it's if you do well at Notre Dame as the offensive coordinator, it's an attractive job to get offered elsewhere, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think because Tommy Reese left, that's more like I'm trying to get out of here. This one, he's taking a head coaching job. Obviously, the guy's trying to move up, you know, so you don't blame him there. But it's definitely, if it happens again, that'll be something to keep an eye on, especially because Marcus Freeman's a defensive guy.
Right.
He kind of needs someone to take the reins a little bit on offense.
Gotcha.
So,
All right.
yeah. All right, you wanna get to basketball, baby?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
Let's do it. Basketball's heating up. We love it. We're gonna do a little recap for you because
Yeah.
it's not super interesting bowl season, but it is bowl season, and so with once football's over, we're just jumping right into conference play of basketball, and so most people don't really know what's going on. There are a handful of teams that are really good.
Right.
Sam and I disagree on which
I mean,
teams
like,
those are.
I think we have a very good consensus on like the top 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
I think we can all agree in no particular order that it's Houston, Arizona, Purdue, Kansas, and UConn.
They're all fantastic.
Very good teams.
Yeah.
Arizona, Purdue was a very good game.
Yeah, Arizona, Purdue. That just played this past week. Purdue won.
Purdue did win.
They have a couple games now. Purdue has put up a ton of points.
Yeah, they
Which
have.
I mean, Matt Painter is kind of an offensive guy.
Yeah. Their guard play has been surprisingly very good.
Which that was their Achilles heel last year.
Right.
That's
And,
why they almost lost the Big Ten championship. That's why they did lose to a 16 seed in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's because their guards were not good. They could not handle a press.
Yeah, and their best player, Zach Edey, is just. I don't want to do this to Zach Edey, but it's like he's just tall. Like he won't be good in the NBA.
He's good. I think he's a good player.
No,
We'll
other than
see.
be-
We'll see if he can do anything.
I
in
mean,
the
other
NBA.
than being tall, he doesn't really. You know what I mean? He gets on the block. He's a foot taller than you. He can turn around.
Yeah, I mean he is 7'4".
Right.
He's very large. He's a very large man. I get that, but I get he might not be good in the NBA, but I think he's good.
What happened with Baylor just falling apart to Michigan State in the second half?
That's not a very good loss too. Like Michigan State, I don't think is very good this year.
I think Michigan State is a good team. They just have the record that says they're not a good team.
They're 6-5 right now.
Right, but I think they're a good team though. They're going to be a bubble team where they'll get in on 18 and 14 or whatever.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
I think they're not making the tournament, but
Mm.
yeah, no, Baylor got demolished.
The second half was awful. It was close, and then they just pulled away.
Yeah, I mean they were down like almost 30 going into halftime.
Was it 30?
They were down like 28.
Oh,
Yeah. They didn't even score 20 points in the first half.
yeah, it was like 16.
Yeah, it was terrible. Baylor, I mean, Scott Drew teams have really good, tough defenses. They're always really good rebounding teams. And then this year, they've also got a really explosive offense. And so everyone's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Baylor's a team to watch. Like, Baylor's really good. And then, I mean, you can have a bad game. I don't know if that's their first true road game because I know Kansas almost got upset by Indiana
Right.
because that was their first true road game.
It was
And also Indiana
played up that game.
shot the lights out. They're a terrible three-point shooting
No,
team.
Indiana had a good game.
Yeah.
Had a very good game, and they lost.
Yeah.
But
I think Indiana's going to be a bubble team this year.
I think it was more impressive. Yeah, I could see that. Was more impressed to see how Kansas went into that environment because it was bumping.
Oh, Assembly Hall was a tough place to play.
Yeah, I mean, like they went in, gutted out a good win. Honestly, I mean, like I
Yeah.
believe that's. Where is it? Do they do? It's tiers, right? They do tier wins. Is that what?
Quad,
they-
yeah.
Quad,
The quad
yeah.
rankings.
That was a quad 1 win.
Yeah. As of now, I mean, we'll see how it stays.
Right, but
For those who don't know, it's like, I think
top 40 away.
there's quad 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think quad 1 is top. Is it top 40 on the road?
It's like
If you're playing on the
40
road,
or-
it's like a top 40
neutral.
team.
It's like 30. Home, it's like top 25.
Top 25, I think. And then you can extrapolate from there.
Right,
That's basically how it
and
goes.
then it goes. Yeah, but
And that has to do with the net rankings. That's what the selection committee for the tournament, they look heavily into the net rankings. And the net rankings historically have loved the Big Ten. They have loved the Big Ten. That's why so many Big Ten teams
well,
get
also
in
it's like
the past
it
few years.
kind of makes sense in a way. I mean,
In a way, but then all these teams in the Big Ten just get killed in the first 2 rounds, and it's like
I don't know.
okay,
I mean, like right now, I
maybe
look
they
at
shouldn't
it.
have been in.
Illinois and Wisconsin, in my opinion, are on the same level of like the best ACC teams, and like Duke and North Carolina.
So
they're like right there.
They're good, but there's a huge drop off in the Big Ten. Big Ten is not deep this year. They're not deep. It's interesting you said that about the ACC. So, according to the net, the ACC is the fifth best conference right now. They're the fifth best conference according to the net. If you remove Louisville, if you do nothing else but take out Louisville, they become the third best conference. Did you know that?
No.
That's how bad Louisville is this year.
Also, Notre Dame stinks this year too.
Notre Dame's pretty bad as well. Really, yeah, Notre Dame and Louisville really bringing down the ACC.
Yeah. In basketball, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
In football,
Yeah, in football, Notre Dame's not an ACC team.
well, yeah.
They're affiliated, but they're not the ACC.
You know,
Yeah, so we'll talk about
I mean, like
we said we weren't going to talk about it until Kenny Payne got fired. He's going to get fired
They've already
this
asked.
week. Like,
well, he won. I think they're just waiting for once the Kentucky game's over.
yeah,
If
I
it's-
think he'll get fired on Friday.
I think if it's as bad as what I'm thinking it's going to be, like if we lose by we, I mean Louisville, by like 20, 25, he's gone. And we are going to lose by 20.
The only thing that saves his job is winning,
Oh, yeah.
and that I think.
Well, as anyone in coaching should.
yeah, but he's got one game to win.
Right, basically, he's coaching.
Yeah, like and the thing is, it's not even like he's coaching for his job. He's coaching to coach the rest of the season.
But imagine if we won that game. Imagine.
I don't even want to go there.
Imagine.
I don't even wanna go there.
I'd be elated and pissed off at all at one.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you
Because
mean.
the short term is phenomenal. The long term, gosh, he's got like a couple of weeks at least.
It's a couple months. If he beats Kentucky, most likely,
Oh
I
my
think
God.
most likely he's making it to the end of the year, which
Yeah.
maybe saves you $2 million.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think his contract it doesn't. This is how most buyouts in basketball work.
It's
It decreases when it hits April
Ye-
1st, and you're still retained as the coach.
right.
But he's gone either way.
Oh, but how funny would it be?
Louisville has a good roster. Louisville has a talented roster. They're awful. They're awful because of Kenny Payne. He's going to get fired this week. Next week when we come and do this podcast, oh man, we're going to be happy. We're going to be a couple of happy campers.
I mean, like, the assistant coach already turned down the interim.
That's rumored, yeah.
Yeah, so if that's true, he's gone too when this
Well, they're going to
happens.
clean staff probably. They're probably going to clean house.
And just have like some like alumni staffer come in and coach or something.
Yeah. Either like Mark Lieberman, I don't know if you know who that is.
Don't.
Former assistant at U of L under Patino. He lives in Louisville. He's not a coach right now. He's like a high school girls coach, but like,
Oh.
yeah. But he's available. He is a likely candidate. Jay Wright? Jay Wright is interim.
Whatever.
He's not going to take the full-time job. I'm aware of that. But just give me hope. Josh Hurd worked with him at Villanova.
No shot.
Yeah, okay. We'll get into more
This
like
man is on TV looking fine. He is not.
he could be on a sideline looking fine too.
No.
That man's going to look fine no matter where you
You
put him.
got a point there, but no.
Okay. I think we'll talk more about potential head coaches when he actually gets fired. Just let you know, that's going to be the first casualty of the basketball year. And I can't wait for it, frankly.
Oh my gosh.
Anything else as far as top teams in basketball to watch
Yeah,
out for?
BYU's a top team, baby.
Dude, shut up.
BYU, the Mormons got it going on right now. They're shooting that three-pointer, lights out, 39% from three. Oh, they're
39%?
Oh,
I mean,
they're-
that's good, but like,
that's like top.
no, I'm aware of that. I'm aware
that's
of
like
that.
top 5. What are we talking
I know,
about?
but with the way you talked about it before, I thought they were shooting like 44 from three. I don't know.
They are. My bad. They're 37 now.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
47th in the nation. Shooting 58 though from two pointers. Gosh, they're good. Defense, offense, everything in between.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. They've got a pretty tough schedule to start.
I mean, they literally go into literally every single game as soon as they start the Big 12 is a
Yeah.
quad 1 or quad 2 game.
Cincinnati looks pretty solid this year.
Cincinnati, Baylor. Apparently UCF is a quad 1 because I don't know how this works.
I don't know. But Duke has already lost 3 games. Their next game is against Baylor, so it could turn into 4 pretty quickly. We'll see about that. Yeah, Gonzaga has already lost 3 games. I mean, to give Duke and Gonzaga some credit, they've lost 3 games to 3 tough teams. So, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, they lost to good teams, but at the same time, it's like, well, they didn't beat any of the good teams. So, are they that good? I don't know. Gonzaga, though, has some good wins, though. They were in the Maui tournament. That's
Right.
part of the reason why they have 3 losses. Unless you win Maui, you're not. I mean, it's a tournament. Obviously, that makes sense. But unless you win Maui, you're not coming out of there unscathed.
No.
And so, losses at Maui.
But also, it's just a good test to see where you are.
Yeah,
It's a great test. That
Tennessee lost 2 games in Maui.
Maui's a good one. Atlantis is usually a decent one. The one in New York is a good one too.
Empire Classic.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't good this year. It had 3 teams that I don't think are very good.
Well, they were
And
all preseason.
UConn,
They're all preseason supposed to be very good, and then
not Louisville.
well, yeah. But I mean, like Michigan State was supposed to be something.
Michigan State wasn't in this year.
Oh, I thought they were.
Oh, you talking about the Champions Classic?
Yeah.
The one with Duke, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a tournament.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Mm.
It's just Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, and Michigan State. It's those 4 teams, and then they rotate who they play every year.
Oh, it's sketchy.
Yeah.
Like a little round robin.
Yeah, this year it was Duke and Michigan State playing each other, and Kentucky and Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what's interesting? Something I found out.
What?
Louisville and Kansas have never played each other, ever. They're 2 of the top brands in the sport, like top 10 brands. They've never played each other once. It's interesting.
Yeah. How about that?
But yeah, that's something to keep in the back of your mind whenever we get rolling. North Carolina, one last thing. North Carolina has 3 losses. They have looked very good at times, and then they've looked not good at times.
I mean, like that Kentucky game. I watched that whole Kentucky game. They were basically down big, came back. Like they were down like 12.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, made it close and interesting. But it's like they gotta prevent these runs midway through the game where they just hit this lull. Also, starting off that game, they couldn't hit a shot. They went like 0 for 7 from 3, and they kept chucking them up. It was a very defensive game to start, even though the box probably doesn't show that.
Well, I mean, those are 2 teams, Kentucky and North Carolina. They're 2 teams that like to get out and run.
Right.
So that's no one knows what to think about North Carolina. Like, they're North Carolina. They're gonna have a ton of talent.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know about Hubert Davis though. Like, we don't know if he's that good. I think he's better than John Shire. I'm not very high on John Shire.
Well,
Give both of them a
it's
chance.
funny that you say that because I think one of those 2 teams is going to win the ACC this year.
One of them, who?
It's Duke and UNC.
I suppose
That's who I really think.
could be Virginia, but yeah, I guess there's not.
Or I mean, you could say Clemson. They're ranked 19th right now.
Clemson, yeah.
But
Clemson,
no, I really do think it's UNC and Duke.
I don't know. We'll see. It's a tournament, Championships are that's why it's part of the reason why
regular season.
Oh, regular season. Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably, you're right. Yeah. All right. Well, that's your
A little basketball recap.
quick
that we got
recap
going.
on this year.
Stay tuned when you actually care in February.
Yeah, that's when people start caring.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be talking about it in January because we don't do pro sports, but yeah, February is when people care. All right. What else we got left? We got the pick'ems.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well,
how did we do last week?
We had the same record.
Oh, how about that?
Mm-hmm. I think the fans had one more loss than us because I think they picked Old Dominion over Western Kentucky, which for a second there it looked like, okay, well, They might have been onto something. But, yeah, Sam and I are currently still tied after the first week of bowl games.
Wow.
And so it's been a tight one this year. So we're doing some more bowl games.
Right.
We got one tonight. That would be the Frisco Bowl versus it's UTSA versus Marshall. I'm gonna go with UTSA in this one.
Don't know too much about Marshall. I'm gonna go UTSA too.
Marshall is,
Figured. I mean, is Frank Harris playing?
Frank Harris. I honestly I haven't kept track.
Fair enough.
This is a crapshoot for.
Well, here's the tough part: is that I wish I knew who's playing and who isn't playing. You know?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, because it'd be nice to be like, oh, this team is rostering a B squad right now before I pick them off
That
of name.
absolute. Well, that's the thing though. Sometimes like bowl season now is just such a crapshoot because sometimes teams will throw out like their second stringers. They're like, yeah, you're
Fire
getting
away,
the start,
bud.
and then they'll win. They'll win. Like it's.
I mean, it makes complete sense.
Yeah,
though.
and then of course sometimes you get the guys where it's like everyone's transferred out because the coach left, and so they're putting together like a makeshift staff and roster, and then it's like, all right, let's try our best, and then they get destroyed.
I mean,
It happened to Purdue last year.
I mean, but then
they
like,
got demolished by.
but then like
LSU.
Louisville does it, and like it works out.
Exactly, bowl season is so unpredictable.
It's
That being said, they've still got Jeff Traylor. He didn't leave, so I'm taking UTSA.
fair enough.
All right, you picked UTSA?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've got a feeling I know what you guys are going to say. Next one, we got Southern Florida, USF versus Syracuse in the Boca Raton Bowl. Syracuse started off 4-0, and they finished the year 2-6. That's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Southern Florida actually got off to a good start too, and then they
Who's
didn't.
Syracuse's coach?
That's a good question because I doubt the guy that they hired.
No, he won't start right now.
Yeah,
It's an interim.
that's kind of like a thing of the past too. Is coaches don't really, because of the transfer portal and the early signing period, coaches don't start coaching until after the bowl game.
Right.
So I'm taking Southern Florida.
Yeah, Southern Florida.
All right, it's Georgia Tech versus UCF in the Gasparilla Bowl.
I'm gonna go with Georgia Tech.
Gosh darn it, I'm going with Georgia Tech too. I
I
thought we
think
were
they're-
have some.
I think they're like sneaky good. Like their record could be vastly different.
Yeah, I mean
this
they're
year.
6-6. Both of these teams I think are 6-6.
Right.
And I think you can say that for both of these teams. I think Central Florida just got on a streak where they just lost like 3 or 4 games in a row.
Also, they were in a first year in a tough Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like also I think Central Florida is better than them with their record.
I mean, they
says.
almost beat Oklahoma.
They almost beat Oklahoma. Should have beat Baylor. They blew the biggest freaking lead against Baylor. Yeah, but
This might be a
I just
decent
think
game.
Brent Key is a guy that knows how to get his teams up, and so for that I'm taking Georgia Tech. All right, next in the Birmingham Bowl, that would be in Alabama. We got Troy versus Duke.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
It's got to be Troy here, right? I mean, it's got to be, right? Riley Leonard's gone. Their coach has already left. Who's coaching this game?
who's coaching this game for either side? Both coaches left.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But I also feel like with Troy, though, it's like Troy's like the really good non-power 5 school, whereas like in Duke is like if any of them had talent, they're either transferred out or
that's true.
they basically are going pro. You know, so I mean, like, whereas like Troy's like they want to continue, they want to end the season on a high. You know, like, give me Troy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. Give me Duke just for.
Nah, you were gonna pick Troy. Pick
No,
Troy.
give me Duke. Why not? Who knows, man? Give me Duke. Yeah, I think Troy probably has. It shows how much research we did. Troy probably has fewer players gone from this game, but just give me Duke. Whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. You could have put in random teams and fake bowls, and I would have picked them because I don't even know.
I
what's,
know.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Arkansas State versus Northern Illinois in the Kamea Bowl. Kamea? I don't know.
I know nothing. I'm just going off of images here. I'm going Northern Illinois because I know it's a coyote, and I don't even know what Arkansas State's mascot is.
It's a red wolf.
Yeah.
I'm
Give me
taking
Northern
I'm
Illinois. I
taking
literally
Northern
know-
Illinois as well.
I literally know nothing about either of these teams. I'm just going off of like brand here.
I don't either.
I'm picking off of brand.
Neither of these teams have been on my radar all year long.
I'm like, which team historically has been like quote unquote better?
Yeah, so give me Northern Illinois as well, I guess. All right, this is the Armed Forces Bowl. Hoorah!
Hoorah!
Yeah, we got James Madison versus the Chair Force.
Yeah.
I'm taking James Madison. I don't care if their quarterback and coach left. I think they're gonna get it done.
I was gonna pick James Madison too, but let's go Air Force.
Not a bad pick.
I mean, honestly, Air Force season kind of spiraled a little bit there.
They started off 8-0, and then I think they finished 8-4.
Well, I mean, like they went from like favorites to like make the
A New Year's Six Bowl.
Mountain West, and then they just collapsed.
They really did. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, give me James Madison. Georgia State versus Utah State in the Potato Bowl. I'm gonna go with Georgia State in this one.
Damn.
We really this is a bad slate of games.
I
This
mean,
is
like
not
I was gonna go Georgia State too, just because I know at one point they were undefeated in the season, like late in the season.
No, they had a good record late in the year, but I don't think they were
Right.
undefeated.
I thought they were like 6-0 or something.
No, they started off like 3-0,
Oh,
and then they lost a game. But
yeah, give me Georgia State here. I mean, I know nothing about either of these teams.
I mean, Georgia State kind of spiraled as well. I think they were 6-2 at one point, and then they finished the year at 6-5.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, Georgia State.
I'm still taking Georgia State, yeah. Whoops. Anyway, we've got South Alabama versus Eastern Michigan in the 68 Ventures Bowl.
You're making some of these up. You gotta be right.
No, I'm not.
Jeez. I don't know. South Alabama. I literally know nothing.
Give me Eastern Michigan just for difference.
I mean, like honestly though, like what do we know about these teams?
I know
That they
South
both-
Alabama lost their number one receiver, Colin Lacey.
Oh,
He entered his name in the transfer portal. Very good receiver, going to
Fair
Louisville.
wow. There you go.
hmm Got 2 Alabama guys.
All I know.
Yep.
Yeah, one from the south, one from
So,
Oregon.
who knows, man?
Who knows?
Utah versus
these teams play
Northwestern.
football.
Yeah, they do. Both of them field Division I FBS teams. Utah versus Northwestern in the Las Vegas Bowl.
This one's interesting.
Yeah, actually, this is
Who's their
of
quarterback?
all of them maybe the most fun.
Is Cam Rising playing?
Cam Rising is not playing.
They don't
It's
have a
probably-
quarterback.
Did Nate Johnson enter the portal?
He's in the portal?
What?
Yeah, Bryson Barnes is
Ooh,
in the
they
portal.
might not have a quarterback.
I was about to say, who's their quarterback?
They might be one of the Wildcat against the Wildcats.
No, genuinely. Like, who is Utah's starter for this game?
Dude, who knows, man?
I'm finding this out.
It's gonna be some dude. It's gonna be some pig farmer off the street.
No, the pig farmer's in the portal.
Look, it's Utah. They got plenty of them.
Not going to leave.
Bryson Barnes.
Oh, so
Bryson Barnes. Give me Utah. Give me the Utes, baby.
not going to leave them hanging. But he's in the portal.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
But he's playing the bowl game.
Why not?
What in the world?
Give me the Utes.
He says, I'm not going to leave them hanging. What? Say he will finish career elsewhere after opting to transfer from the program. Walk on hero's decision. What in the world?
Am I sticking to Utah?
I'm not.
Give me Utah. I like their defense.
I mean, yeah, but give me Northwestern. It's a good story.
Yeah, the purple haze of Northwestern.
Literally.
This one's an interesting one simply because of the distance traveled. It's the Hawaii Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina versus San Jose State. Coastal Carolina has to travel the furthest distance of any team for a bowl.
Well, yeah, they have to go around
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, number 3 is San Jose State. I think number 2 is I think it's Washington.
Well, it's got to just be because of where the
That's
bowl
exactly
is.
what it is.
It's got to be.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
But I mean, like, one's on this side of the continental U.S., the other one's on the other side. One has to take one flight.
Well, they're by 2 different oceans. Yeah, the coast that Carolina's flying from is not the coast that they're going to be by. San Jose State. I don't know.
I mean, just off a distance, yeah.
God dang it!
I mean, honestly though, like Coastal Carolina, they're probably flying out of Raleigh. How far is it from Raleigh to Honolulu?
They're not flying out of Raleigh. That's
I'm just saying. This is rough, you know. I mean, like South Carolina, North Carolina. You know what I mean?
I don't. It's probably like a 9-hour trip from Carolina to like LA.
No, probably. It's like
8 or 9 hours. I don't know.
It's 6 from Chicago to LA.
Okay, that's closer.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, I guess we're both picking San Jose. Are they the Trojans? I don't know what their mascot is.
It takes a day.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah,
it takes
I
a
could
day.
imagine that. They'll be there for a week. They'll get accustomed. Finally, I guess it's our game of the week. I don't know why I didn't move Utah Northwestern here, but who cares?
Gosh, bowl games suck.
They kind of suck now.
Until the new year, basically, or like the end of the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Bowling Green versus Minnesota in the Quick Lane Bowl.
I don't know. I like Minnesota's coach. I don't know.
Me too.
I like Minnesota's coach. Bowling Green fields a football team. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I would have to imagine Bowling Green probably has more intact than Minnesota.
oh yeah, golly.
Give me Minnesota.
Bowl games are essentially a preseason game for next year.
That's all it is. That's all the non like Power 6 games have turned into an extra week of practice. That's all it is.
It's more than an extra week. The season ended a
You're
month
right.
ago. Imagine having to practice a whole nother month for one game that no one cares about.
That happens.
No, it's most definitely
Absolutely happens.
Oh man.
All right, that's our pick'ems for the week. That's our episode. Really had our momentum killed there in the middle there. I said there twice, but whatever. A great end to the show.
Oh my God.
Okay.
See you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you.